am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. And we have Stephen A. Smith addressing the separation between Shannon Sharpe and ESPN, and basically blaming his lawyers for offering a settlement. And not only that, telling him the response and address the matter. Let's listen.
Involving Mr. Shannon Sharpe, who announced yesterday that he would be stepping away from ESPN and ESPN's First Take, my daytime job, at least until the NFL preseason sometime later on this summer. As you may recall, a lawsuit was filed against Shannon on Sunday by a woman using the name Jane Doe, or using a Jane Doe pseudonym. The 13-page civil complaint filed in Nevada alleged that Shannon Sharpe committed assault, sexual assault, battery, and sexual battery. Shannon and his attorneys responded with evidence of the relationship being, quote unquote, consensual. And Jane Doe's attorney, Tony Busby, responded by releasing audio of an alleged conversation between his client and Shannon. For those that don't know, Tony Busby is the same attorney that filed the lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy, alleging they both sexually assaulted a minor, which has since been withdrawn. Jay-Z has now countersued Busby. Needless to say, the headlines this week took on a life of their own, and as a result, Shannon announced he was stepping away from ESPN. Here's a portion of Shannon's statement that he posted on social media. Quote, "I will be devoting this time to my family and responding and dealing with these false and disruptive allegations set against me. I plan to return to ESPN at the start of the NFL preseason. I sincerely appreciate the overwhelming and ongoing support I have received from my family, fans, friends, and colleagues," end quote. It's been a difficult week from a sports media perspective, certainly as it pertains to First Take. Shannon Sharpe became a friend. When I recruited him to come on board on ESPN's First Take, he came on board and he did a sensational job. No matter the amount of success that we enjoyed for the 12 years prior to his arrival, he helped take it to another level last year. And we were doing our thing this year as well. And so when the news came down that he and ESPN had mutually agreed that he would need to come off the airwaves of ESPN, it was a blow to the show, a blow to me personally, because I'm going to miss him. But it was not a surprise. When I was on the air just a few days ago, a lot of people were looking for me to say something. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to speak to one's innocence or one's guilt about something I have absolutely positively no knowledge of whatsoever. Do I believe that Shannon Sharpe is guilty of what he has been accused of? Absolutely not. That is my personal opinion. The brother that I've come to know, I don't believe would assault or rape anybody. And I'm going to state that emphatically. But just as emphatically, I'm going to remind everybody it is my opinion because of what I feel about him. Not in any way implying that I know a damn thing beyond that, because I don't know. I've seen the text messages released by his lawyer, who, by the way, I don't think has been impressive in this at all, because some of the information that was let out to the public, I have no idea why a lawyer would advise such a thing, but that's a different subject for another day. And we're allowed to deduce from an opinion perspective what we believe and what we don't, so long as we concede that we have no way of knowing definitively what the truth is. What I can speak about is the fact that this three-time Super Bowl champion and this Hall of Famer, who emphatically stated to me over the phone how innocent he is of these allegations that have been levied against him, insisting repeatedly that anything you read, anything you see, anything you hear was fully and totally consensual. In the same breath, what's inescapable is that without us knowing all the merits, he was working with Disney, where I've worked since 2003, excluding my departure from 2009 to 2011, when I was gone for those 2 years. Outside of that, I've been at Disney since October of 2003. I know this place. I know the worldwide leader that is ESPN, who's under the umbrella of Disney. And it wasn't difficult for me to figure out what was transpiring. As I sit here before you today discussing this matter, ESPN and Disney have a wait and see attitude when it comes to whatever evidence they may learn about this entire situation involving Shannon Sharpe from a legal and from a civil perspective. What they didn't need, as it pertains to those two things that I just mentioned, they didn't need any definitive evidence at this particular moment in time about all of that stuff once all the things Shannon Sharpe's lawyer put out there. It was uncomfortable to...
Yeah, this is Disney. At the end of the day, this is fucking Disney. And if you think, like, they could let go of Michael Irvin over literally nothing. Like, that case got dismissed. Like, they let him go over literally nothing. They said, no. Y'all think they're going to keep Shannon Sharpe? Like, yeah, they might be separated for now. But the unfortunate part about it, and that's what Stephen A. is alluding to at this point, is he's gone. Shannon Sharpe is never coming back to ESPN. Give it about 2 years, they'll reconsider it. But as of now, until all this shit like truly just blows the fuck over, and if he stays relevant, if he stays the number one, and you see other people give him opportunities, and ESPN, Disney will gracefully open the doors back up to him. Till then, while you got audio of you saying you'll choke a little white woman out there for the world to hear, for the little white kids and families to hear. You know, Disney love them white families. They love them. They love them. Like, nope, can't have it. Sorry. So yeah. That's how this is gonna go. Unfortunately for old Shay Shay. Well, like I said, he still has his platforms. I'm sure this isn't gonna stop anybody from sitting down. I'm sure a hell of a lot of people want to sit down and talk to him on Club Shay Shay right now. Like, Shannon, what were you thinking? Like, yeah, you do that little interview and you be bringing up everybody's mess. He brings up everybody's mess on that Club Shay Shay platform. And look, he does his job well. He takes inspiration from the Vlads and the Adam 22s. He understands the game. He's like, look, if I'm having these people sitting down on these platforms, I'm going to talk about the things we need to talk about. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. But when the shoe's on the other foot, you cannot shy away. We can't be, oh, no. My dirt stays in the ground. Nah, nigga, get to digging. Get the fucking digging, Shannon. That's all I'm saying.
Listen to, and it was not something that Walt Disney once associated with its brand. So to have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I am not surprised. In getting to know Shannon Sharpe, I know a lot of things that he has articulated that he has been through in his life. I can't imagine too many things in life tougher than what he's going through now. And there's a lot of people out there talking a lot of smack and a lot of stuff about him. You will never hear that from me. It will not happen. I don't give a damn if we speak a day from now, a month from now, a year from now, years from now. He's my friend. And it's always going to be that way. I'd say the same thing to you about anybody else that I know to be my friend. I don't have to work with you. I don't have to be around you. I don't have to be around you all the time, talking to you all the time, to have love for you and to wish you the best. And that's exactly what it's going to be for him. I sincerely hope that all of this goes away and we find there's a bunch of falsehoods to these allegations and he's able to come back in this industry and do what he has been doing, which has been phenomenal. I hope Club Shay Shay and Nightcap and all of these other things that he's associated with, that he continues to thrive in his life and move forward. And whatever mistakes he may have made along the way, I'm not talking from a legal or civil perspective, I'm talking about in his eyes or that of others, whether it be moral or something else. I hope that he corrects whatever he feels he needs to correct and he moves forward. But in the process of doing all of that, I hope we're all reminded of a few things. And this extends far beyond a Shannon Sharpe or anybody else. One of the things that we need to remind ourselves of is that in this day and age, very few things are private. In this day and age, there's very few things that won't come to light, because most things do. But thinking beyond Shannon, thinking beyond myself, just thinking about the world that we live in terms of the podcast stratosphere and everything like that, a lot of people want to walk around thinking you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. You could your own operation. You don't have to answer to anybody. That's not true. I've had people open their mouth and they've said, Stephen A., you work for ESPN. What kind of control do you really have? This is my podcast. This is my YouTube show. I own this. But if you think for 1 second that I could just do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and there's not going to be any repercussions, you're clueless. And you're destined to fail and fall on your face. I'm not talking about Shannon Sharpe. I'm not talking about Shannon Sharpe. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. I'm talking about a climate that we're living in. Some people sit up there and they look at me and they say, Stephen A. don't get himself in this kind of trouble. How does he pull it off? Well, first of all, there's certain behaviors and proclivities that you never have to worry about me engaging in. But most importantly than that, I often say this about Walt Disney. I'd rather work for a place with standards than one looking for them. You know why? Because lines are drawn. And I never have to worry about crossing them because guess what? I've got something there reminding me, hold on. You don't need to do that. It's not a silo. I'm not by myself. I don't get to operate in any way that I want without having to worry about ramifications or repercussions. I always have to be concerned about that. So I'm challenged every day to come on the airwaves and think about the ramifications and repercussions of anything that I do. Constantly. And because of that, that's an additional guardrail to secure me from putting myself in a position that could jeopardize myself, my show, my brand, my family, the company that I work for, anything like that. Again, I'm not talking about Shannon right now. I'm talking about what people say when it comes to people like myself and others who unapologetically explain that we have people to answer to. And all you folks out there with your own podcast, running your own operations, if you have advertisers and sponsors, get what? You answer to somebody too. And I'm here to tell you, don't be upset about it. Feel good about it. Because you need to view it as an extra line of security that enables you, it being a guardrail, it enables you to watch lines that you want to make sure that you don't cross. Because when those lines are always there, you usually know it. And you usually make sure you don't cross it.
In a roundabout way, this is apparently become a conversation about being independent media and having an overhead. You know, will you choose to be free and say what you want, do what you want with no repercussions? Or will you not necessarily sell your soul, but, you know, be willing to have somebody above you that's always there to pull the plug and say, hey, you didn't do something that we didn't like, or you did something that we didn't like, so now we got to get you the fuck up out of here. Now, it is a discussion of whether you're willing to play a house slave or you know, be a free man. The choice is truly yours. It's truly yours. Are you asking what choice would I make? Well, most of the house slaves these days are rich. You know, back in the day, you just was in the house. Everybody else was outside working. So that was your now the house slaves are making millions of dollars. So will I play Samuel L. Jackson and Django? The sad truth of the matter is, we might never know. So I'm never giving the answer. But just know, if you see me kissing ass on one of these hip hop sites, if you see me somewhere, you know, with Kendrick Lamar's nutsack all over my chin, or even Drake, if you see me somewhere with Drake's nutsack all over my chin, then just know, Michael got the bag. Only people I won't need a bag to glaze is John Cena and fucking J. Cole. That's it. I'm the only two people that they don't have to give me anything. Those are goats. So, anyways, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Which route would you take? Would you take the independent media route? You know, it's money there, especially if you got clout. But if you don't have the clout and you don't have the platform and you don't have the money and the contracts right there, are you signing the dotted line and making sure you don't get into no BDSM? Because if you do, you end up like Shannon Sharpe. But either way, Shannon's not cooked though. I was literally watching Nightcap today, and it was like 44,000 people watch. Bruh, he is fine. He will be okay. he will be okay. Niggas in the comments giving them encouraging messages like, it's okay, Shannon, we're here for you. You know, he'll be fine. Look, at the end of the day, he'll always have his platforms. And regardless of it, as long as he ain't really rape nobody, feeding this BDSM shit, there's some advertisers that are willing to look past that shit to go see that 44,000 watching live and go, yeah, we need that. How much? What's your price, Shannon? I'm just saying. Anyways, I am Savvy Mike in this. I am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.